Hi, I'm Cheryl and welcome to the Sewing Room channel. This is your tip of the week and it's all about different ways to hem. So let's take a look at some of the hem stitches. Some of the stitches are a basic straight stitch and even a zigzag stitch for stretching on knits, a twin needle, blind hem, and I'll even show you how to use bias hem tape, which you can use for lengthening your pants. Here are some of the fabrics that I'm going to demonstrate on. The first three here are cotton. This is also cotton, but it's denim and then a knit fabric. On your raw edges here, I have done an overlock on this particular piece of cotton fabric. So if you have a serger machine or you have overlock stitches on your regular sewing machine, then I suggest you just do that. It's a nice finished edge. And then you would fold it over whatever amount you wanted to, anywhere from 1 inch to 2 inches and maybe more depending on the look, and then select a hemming stitch. Here it is again on this one, but I wanted to show you that it looks really nice if you can use matching thread. For instance, on this black fabric, I used white, but I would suggest you use the darkest thread you have, preferably black. And on this one, I just did white, but it blends in really nice. If you don't want to do any kind of overlock stitch, then I usually will fold over my bottom raw edge 1/2 inch and press, and then I fold it over again anywhere from 1 inch to 2 inches or more and press again and then select a hem stitch. On denim, I would prefer to use an overlock stitch because it really unravels quickly. And then on your knits, you can use an overlock stitch, but it's not totally necessary. On the samples I have here is the one with the serged edge. I've folded it over and then pressed, then did a straight stitch along the upper edge of that fold over edge. And then if you're using matching thread, right along here you can see, you can't see the stitch that well. So if you want to just do a straight stitch, make sure you use matching thread. On this one, I folded the edge over that 1/2 inch, folded it over again and then pressed, stitched along close to that folded edge. And again, if you use matching thread, it's not going to show through to the front. The next stitch is a sewing machine blind hem stitch. Check your user's manual to select the correct presser foot. On mine, I'm on a baby lock crescendo, and my presser foot, this is the back side of it. Sorry, I'm trying to hold my hand still. This is the back of it, and there's this little tiny piece of metal that sticks down. And that little bar is going to go up against one of the folded edges of your fabric. Make sure you also check your user's manual for the correct stitch to use for blind hem. This one here, I've already folded this edge 1/2 inch, and then I folded the edge again. I've pinned it along here, but you don't want to place the pin right up against this fold. You want to come down at least 1/4 inch and place your pins. Then take this side and have it against the table and then fold this edge back. And remember that little bar I talked about right underneath here? It's going to go against this folded edge. So place it right on there, and I'm going to move it over just a little bit. And now I'm going to begin to stitch. Keeping that bar. Don't look at your needle. Just make sure that that little bar underneath is right up against this folded edge. Now, this is what it looks like on the underside And then when you turn it over, this is what it looks like. And if you're using matching thread, you can hardly see it. I'm going to demonstrate a couple of ways to do a hem stitch on stretch knit fabric. Now you have an option, as I said earlier, of serging your edges. You don't necessarily need to do that because stretch knits do not unravel. So whatever method you decide of finishing your edge, fold it over and press. So you want a nice folded edge there because it's going to make stitching much easier. The easiest way to stitch the knit is to use a very small zigzag stitch. And again, I recommend you use matching thread. I'm using dark thread. So Jen, just select a small zigzag stitch and stitch across. Now I'm going to stop it. And when you pull on the fabric, it'll stretch. So when you're stitching a zigzag stitch, do not stretch the fabric as you stitch. One of my favorite ways to do a hem stitch on a knit is to use a twin needle. And you put it in your machine just like any other normal needle. Just make sure that the flat side is facing away from you and you're looking at the curved side of the needle. When you use a twin needle, you will also need to use 2 spools of thread that are the same color. Thread your machine. Normally, I would pull both strands of thread through the machine, threading it, and then each thread would go through a different needle. Then just place that presser foot where that top edge of the fabric is, and I can feel it, so I'm just going to put my presser foot right along there and just keep it going right along this edge. And as again, make sure you've changed your stitch length to 3.0 and your tension to 1.0 and just begin to stitch. Let me take it out of the machine. And you can see that it will stretch when you're done. And this is what it looks like on the back side. Now I don't have matching thread, so let me show you a sample with one with matching thread on it. Here is a skirt I made that has the twin needle on it with matching thread. So here it is from the front, and then here it is from the back. I'm going to give you a few suggestions on how to shorten a pair of jeans. Always try the pants on first. Place a pin where you want the bottom edge of your pants to land, then add anywhere from a ½ inch to an inch beyond that point to turn under for hemming. So the first example I'm going to show you is you would want to leave an extra 1 inch below your desired hem length. Fold it over once and press, and fold it over again and press. Then stitch along this folded edge right there. This other example is my preferred way because I just like how it looks, is I will serge my edge. Make sure you use the same color as your denim jeans, whether it's a light color or if it's a deep blue indigo color. You want to use matching thread. Fold it over just once a ½ inch and press, and then stitch along the edge here. And this is what both of them look like. They both look nice from the edge, but this one here is easier because it's not as thick and it's real easy to stitch over. Another way of hemming is to use bias hem tape. And this is about 2 inches wide, but it does come in a variety of widths. Unfortunately for this demonstration, I was unable to get a narrower piece. They were just out of it everywhere I looked. So, but you would do it the same way no matter what the width is. So this is a nice little technique if you need to add a little extra length to something. Let's say you have a hem of 1 or 2 inches in an existing skirt or pair of pants, and you wish it was a little longer. So you would just take out your existing hem, pull the threads out, press everything out. Take your bias hem tape, overlap it by about a 1/4 of an inch, I would suggest, and then stitch along this edge right here. And just stitch all the way across. All right, now, then decide how much you want to hem it up. Now you're going to have to do it at least possibly a 1/2 inch. So let's say you only wanted to do the 1/2 inch. Then go ahead and press this edge here. Then decide on which hemming stitch you would like to use. You can either do your straight stitch across there or do your blind hem stitch. Here it is using the blind hem stitch, and here it is on the front side. I'm going to make a recommendation is that you go ahead and make small samples of each of these stitches and then put it into a book like this, My Stitching Notes, and keep it right by your sewing machine. And what I do is I've got all kinds of notes in here for all kinds of stitching. And so I put my hemming stitches in here with all of my samples, the presser foot I need to use, and any other notes that you may want to put. Just put them in this book, and this way you don't have to go try to figure it out all over again. I hope this video was helpful to you. If you're interested in other tips of the week, check below your YouTube screen for those video links. And I'll also have other links down there to beginners sewing projects. Make sure you follow me on Instagram and don't forget to check out my Facebook page. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time, and happy sewing. If you like the Sewing Room channel, one of the best ways to show your support is to subscribe by clicking on that red subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. And don't forget to click on share to share this video with your friends. And make sure you click on the bell so you receive notifications for all my new videos. I'm Cheryl, this is Manny, and this is Scotty. See you next time.